Hello, all. Welcome to the first session of International Business. And today we are going to discuss globalization. The first question that comes to our mind is, what is globalization? So, globalization, it refers to any activity that brings the people, cultures, and economies of different countries close together. So, if we talk about business, then globalization, that is also known as going global. So it refers to the practices by which organizations become more tightly connected, right? And to whom they would be tightly connected with their customers and partners around the world. So this includes any aspect of operating in different national markets, from product design to their marketing also. So if we talk about globalization as such, it is the process of interaction and integration among people, companies, and the governments worldwide. So globalization has accelerated since the 18th century due to the advances in transportation and communication and technology. And this increase in the global interactions has caused a growth in international trade and the exchange of ideas and cultures also. So globalization, it is primarily an economic process of interaction as well as integration that is associated with social and cultural aspects. But as you know, everything has pros as well as cons, right? So the disputes and diplomacies that also become a large part of the globalization, and it has become the part in the history as well as for modern globalization. So if we talk about economically, like we've talked about the business aspect, what is globalization? It involves goods, services, data, technology, and the economic resources of the capital. So the expansion of global markets, it liberalizes the economic activities of exchange of goods, services, and funds, right? Removal of cross-border trade barriers has made the formation of global markets very much feasible. Advances in transportation like the steam locomotives, steamships, jet engines, and container ships, and developments in telecommunications, infrastructure. So there has been telegraph, then telecommunications, then mobile phones, internet. So these have been actually the major factors in globalization and have generated further interdependence of economic and cultural activities around the globe. So this is a crux of globalization. If we actually see few examples in globalization, there can be so many. So we've already done a case study on Tata Motors and how did they globalize themselves, right? But if we talk about, so the major examples have been online marketplaces like eBay and Amazon. So they are making it very easy to buy products from the businesses or individuals on the other side of the planet, right? Even products sold in traditional brick and mortar stores like Target, or in India we have Reliance, then Big Basket. So there are so many stores which are there. They are often making stops in several different countries before reaching their final destinations. So consumer electronics, for example, are commonly sourced from raw materials in India, made in China, and then sold in America. Then many large restaurant chains like McDonald's operates in dozens of countries, more than 200 countries, right? McDonald's specifically has franchisee in upwards of 100 countries, and diners around the world recognizes its brands and logos. So Netflix is another example where it operates in more than 190 countries and customizes content offerings for individual markets with subtitles and programming in local languages. So if you actually see in the regional languages, Netflix actually provides the translations, right? So, and the instant recognizable swoosh logo of Nike, we've seen that, right? Transcends different cultures and languages. Nike has formed partnerships with athletes who play a variety of sports in many different countries and uses these endorsements to support its worldwide expansion. Now, often this question comes to our mind that whether globalization and internationalization are same or are they different. So, internationalization is a corporate strategy. So, it is a company level strategy, whereas globalization is economic level planning, right? So, it is a corporate strategy that involves making products and services as adaptable as possible so that they can be easily pushed into different markets, national markets, right? So, internationalization often requires the assistance of subject matter experts, technical experts, and people with international experience. What are these subject matter people are going to do? They know their subject well, they have the knowledge of the product. Technical experts have uh, knowledge of the technology, and people with international experiences know what will sell in those markets, right? So the other day we were discussing about Colgate Palmolive and their product Colgate toothpaste. Initially it was packed in the glass jars, right? But they found out, so the subject matter expert thought about it, that the glass jars would not be that good to be transported. The technological or the technical experts suggested, let's say, a tube form, and the people with international experiences passed it that yes, glass jar would not do, but a tube might do, which would actually make it more transportable, easy to use, right? So all these things, all these people actually contributed into a worldwide product, that is the Colgate toothpaste, which is being used in 70% of the households even now. So, the industry experts, they sometimes shorten the term internationalization to IL8N, that is, I8 represents the number of characters in the world. So, this is internationalization. Now, how is it different from globalization? Like I have told you, internationalization is a corporate strategy to make a product or make their company more saleable in the other national markets. Whereas, what is globalization? It is much wider a concept. It is the exchange and interaction and integration of ideas, culture, knowledge, technology, like I have already explained you in the previous slide, right? So that is the basic difference in internationalization and globalization. Globalization is a broader concept, whereas internationalization is a corporate level term. An example of internationalization, what I've taken here is IKEA, right? So, products intended for use by speakers of multiple languages typically undergo an internationalization process. Now, for example, IKEA internationalizes its assembly instructions for its furniture. How do they do that? By drawings. They do not put, or they refrain from putting any language to it, because their product is going to go in so many markets and they'll have to change those assembly instructions in all the languages, which is a tedious task. So what do they initially did? They actually made it in illustrations and diagrams and images, so that it doesn't require a typical language for it, right? So it doesn't include any text that would need to be translated. Products with instructions that do require translations are still often written with the goal of being as culturally neutral as possible. Of course, this is not as easy as it sounds, right? Because so you would have seen so many pamphlets or instructions given with the products with n number of languages. So you have to find out whether it is given the instructions are in Hindi or in English. So in the entire pamphlet, only 10 to 15 lines would be for English or Hindi or whatever language you're looking for, whereas there would be so many other languages: Chinese, Korean, Mandarin. That's the basic purpose, that the product appeals to everybody. Now, another example is that in case of software products and electronics, how do they do internationalization? Uh, so there are a number of concerns that they have. The first is data encoding. So the ASCII character encoding is sufficient for texts in most West European languages, whereas the languages that use non-Latin alphabets like Russian, Chinese, Hindi, and Korean, it requires larger character encoding such as Unicode. Same way, hardware support. So, software designers must consider that certain hardware devices may not be available in all the countries. Then comes the user interface. If a software application will be translated into multiple languages, the user interface needs to include enough space for the text in all of its languages. So the user interface, it becomes very important because you are dealing with different languages, right? Now, another term that comes to our mind when we are talking about globalization is localization. I mean, the meaning, it may sound to be similar, but yes, there is a difference. So now there can be a question that what is internationalization and what is localization? Because you are localizing the product, so how is it different from internationalization? Now you have to keep something in the mind, that internationalization, it helps a product being adaptable to and user friendly for audiences in many different countries. Whereas localization is the process of actually adapting that product to a specific target market once internationalization has taken place. So, now you get the difference. So, the first thing you will do is internationalization. So, you've thought about it that you are going international. Now, you made certain changes for all the countries, whereas for some countries, you particularly changed something or adapted your product, right? That would be your uh, localization. So let us say Colgate Palmolive in Chinese market, so they are too much into their Chinese herbs for cleaning their or keeping their oral hygiene. So the decision of changing from glass jars to the tubes was to make it adaptable for transporting it easily, right? That is internationalization. But if they introduce any Chinese herbs toothpaste as Colgate, that is adapting to that particular local market, and that would lead to localization. Now, I hope that this example makes you clear about what is the distinction between internationalization and localization. So now I can take this example of McDonald's here, which operates over 30,000 restaurants in 100 countries. Its worldwide expansion is example of globalization. By design, the corporation creates a menu adaptable to various local tastes and customs. This policy is an example of internationalization, right? But many of McDonald's restaurants in Israel serve kosher food and drink and close during the Sabbath and Jewish holidays. That is localization. McDonald has also opened a meat free restaurant in India. That is localization. A country in which much of the population doesn't eat beef or pork. In both cases, McDonald has maintained its global brand identity but tailored its products and services for the local markets, and that is localization. So, within the same example, we have seen that they are truly global. Then they have internationalized their product. Also, they have localized their product. So, this is an excellent example of all three: globalization, internationalization, and localization. How is a localization different from translation? Now, what is translation? As you all know, translating from one language to the other. It refers to the conversion of written text from one language to other. While what is localization? It is the process of making a product or message resonate with a specific target culture as if it was created for them in the first place. So it makes you appear that it was made for you, it's not translated for you, right? So for most products, localization includes, but is not limited to, right? Translation. It Localization may include translation as well. There are many localization challenges. It requires consideration of multiple cultural factors that transcend the words a company uses to describe or explain its product. Now, when creating, if you've seen the movie Inside Out, that is the Pixar movie. It's an animation movie. So it accommodated multiple versions of scenes, because if you know, in Urdu and Arabic, they are being read from like we are reading left from right. They read from right to left, right? So in the character motions, right to left, they they read it that way, whereas in the other versions it's from left to right, like we do it. So this is what they have actually changed completely. They removed those original scenes and they created those again. So they wanted to create that feeling that it is for you, it is not being just translated, it is being made for you. That is localization. Now another example is Apple. So Apple Siri, that's their virtual assistant, all of us know. It represents a product that has been successfully localized. So when users ask Siri for the weather report or directions to a specific address, Siri can provide them answers in either Celsius or Fahrenheit, kilometers or miles. So we use kilometers, but in US generally miles are being used. We talk about Celsius, but in US the temperature is measured in Fahrenheit. And because it depends on the user's location, so it can change according to the location. User can even select their preferred accent for the Siri voice. It can be just English, UK English, US English, Australian English, and South African English as well. Also, when building a website, developers should have a robust website localization strategy by addressing these concerns during the planning and designing phase only. So, if you have to incorporate different languages, then you should know beforehand, right? So, successful internationalization actually precedes commensurately successful localization. So, they actually go hand in hand. Another example in localization is that the currencies such as Chilean peso and the Japanese yen do not use subunits in practice because each unit is very small. Something like 1 US dollar is equal to roughly 700 Chilean pesos. So you can imagine how small is that currency. But in e-commerce websites, the Japanese developers design for a Japanese audience they can use only a single integer variable. So they have localized it, right? So if the website expand to a US audience, however, the developers will need to add another variable to store both units and subunits, that is dollars and cents, or convert the integer variable to a decimal. This process can become both time consuming and bug prone for highly complex code bases, because what you're doing, you're increasing the integers, right? But then you have to start it from there, from the inception phase itself. You cannot just add on later, because the consumers are not finding it. So the pesos or the yen, they are not using it. Like for us also, rupees and paise. So paise has lost its value in these days. Initially, that charana, that is 25 paisa, also had a value. It could fetch you certain things. Today we don't even see that, right? The smallest coin is 50 paisa now. So our currency is also losing value, and hence somewhere we have also stopped using pesa, though it is still in there. With the interest of banks, you would see that it comes in the pesa also. But it requires more of complex codes and programming for that. So in few more years, in a couple of years, if we lose, because there are complex codes, and then we can drop the pesa altogether, because we it no longer contains any value, right? Now, what are the considerations companies need to address when they are localizing a product? That's very important. The first is naming conventions. Like people from certain cultures may not have last names, or may have multiple last names. So you have to, you just can't say that first name, second name, last name. So there can be in South India, first name, village name, father's name, last name. So so there can be a series of those things. So you have to just take care what inputs you're asking from your customers. Then telephone number formats are different. In Singapore, it's a 6 digit number. In our country, it is a 10 digit number. So digits also differ. So you have to, take care of that. In date and time formats, there are some forms where DDMMYY, whereas MMDDYY. So it's, you should know what you are offering, and what is the a norm in that country. Then currency symbol and amount, like I just gave you an example, rupee and pesa, yen, peso. You want to, how much you want to incorporate is according to the norms in that country. Then writing directions. This also we have done in Arabic and Urdu. It's left to right or right to left, right? Then system of measurements, like kilometers or miles, Celsius or Fahrenheit. So that is, those are different. Then punctuation marks, the quotations, lower quotes. In German and Guillemets, it is, the quotes are in this form. In French also it differs. So the languages differ. Symbols and pictograms, so the check marks, stop signs, and the use of color to convey information, that is also, that might be different. Then electrical voltages, frequencies, and plugs are also different. You must have seen the electronic plugs, the switches. In Australia they are slanted. In US they are squared. In India they are, the plug inside what goes in is round. Also the voltage, so we have 220 volts, whereas in some other countries it's only, in US it's 110 volts. And the frequencies, how many hertz, 20 hertz or 10 hertz. So that also, your product has to be up to that standard of the country. Then there are other legal requirements, such as GDPR for the use of European Union citizen personal data, or for us it is Aadhaar card, or in US it is the social security number. So so there are different norms and different practices in other countries. So if you want to internationalize your company, or you're thinking about globalization, so those pre prevalent norms would become a part of your plan, as well as the ideas and cultures of that place will also have some place in your format. You cannot ignore them, and that is these are the considerations which your company should be taking care when you are globalizing your product. Now, in review, what we have done up till now about globalization, internationalization, and localization. So, globalization, it refers to the process by which a company brings its business to the rest of the world. It refers to the for the entire world. Internationalization is the practice of designing products, services, and internal operations to facilitate expansion into international markets. Localization, in return, is the adaptation of particular product or service to one of those markets. So, for particularly for European market, particularly for Asian market, that is localization. When you are making your product to go into other markets, is internationalization. Whereas globalization, where a company, or the economy is opening up, so that is globalization. So whenever you anticipate expanding a product to multiple national or even regional markets, then you need to consider internationalization and localization. Planning for these processes before the project begins will help you design products that include and satisfy users for all regions, cultures, and languages. Because this is what is localization, globalization. So, this was about these three concepts, and I hope these are clear to you now. These are the references. Thank you so much for listening.